come to a tour of mine and some friends' Minecraft beta world. On beta 1.7.3. Doing a tour recently. I felt like we spent a lot of time on this world. I didn't expect it to last so long, so I thought it was worth making an archive of it every once in a while. Probably not going to be doing a lot of editing on this, but yeah, so you get started. I mean, this is the spawn building. Spawn is right there on that block in the middle. This is one of the newer builds that I've done. These are everyone who's played on the server in chronological order. I figure I left some room in case some more friends ever end up playing, but for the most part, it's just me that plays about 90% of the time. Been playing the world since October 20th, 2022, and there's a few other things on the world history board here, but like I was saying, I haven't really felt an urge to preserve or like document anything until very recently, so some of these dates are estimates. You can see I had just built the spawn building a few days ago, but anyway, so yeah, that's the spawn building. This is our first crafting bench. It's been here. I noticed that no one ever broke it, so I decided to put a little sign next to it. Yeah, I just built this bridge as a way to get from the spawn building to the rest of the world. It's not completely done yet. It probably needs like some torches on here, light it up at night, but whatever. This is on a server. I'll just like launch the server whenever I want to play, but even if I'm playing alone, I do have a few like mods and plugins. We have like I have Optifine, so the game runs a little better and you can zoom in and stuff. But yeah, so across the bridge here, first build you see, I just built this yesterday, and I'm not sure I really like it. I'm probably gonna end up taking it down or maybe do something else with it, but this is it's a pyramid. I figured people usually build square pyramids in Minecraft, so I was like, oh, let me try building a triangular pyramid, but I don't really think it looks that great. It is made out of sand. It uses a little, you see I still have the stuff in my inventory. Use the little bug where you, I don't know if it's really a bug. It's probably a feature at this point, but you can, make sand float with the torches. So there's all torches in there holding it up. But yeah, we've been playing this world for a while now. Just noticed that kind of looks like a face. That's kind of funny. Over here, we have come this way to experience greatness. Your senses will fail you. Face mysterious and mesmerizing. Meet the legend. The great floating sand. When we were coming from spawn, I noticed that there was like a single floating sand block just here. It didn't look like this, the terrain originally. I had to carve a little bit out to make room for it, but I thought it would be kind of funny to put in a little box here. It's got a little viewing chamber. You can go up, look at it from above and stuff. There's the big penis that one of my buddies built. Is hanging out over there, so it's pretty good. I'm probably going to take that down at some point too, but I don't know, it's kind of funny, so I left it there for now. Or maybe I'll move it somewhere else. I do use like commands and stuff sometimes. I don't really spawn in any items unless I'm, showing someone around the world. I'll spawn some dirt or something if I don't have anything on me to pillar with, but for the most part, I just use it to reset the day instead of carrying around a bed all the time. built all these paths out of gravel. I was thinking about doing like cobblestone or something, but I don't know. I think the gravel looks fine. It doesn't have much else of a use in this old version. You can still get like flint from it and make arrows and stuff, but that's really all it does. So over here we have the Colosseum. I did this build probably about a year ago now, and I recently like spruced it up a little bit. I put a fountain in the front, and did the interior here. But it actually has a purpose. It's not just you know, nothing. It's like a spleef arena. If you don't know what spleef is, it's like a old school Minecraft sort of mini game. One of the OGs before like all the minigame servers like Hypixel and stuff. And you basically just run around on a layer of snow, and you break the snow with a shovel, try and knock your opponents off or whatever. So I have a little equipment chest here, and you can like throw snowballs at each other, try and knock each other in the pits. Usually you fall in lava, but it just falls down and you come out the sides over here. I'll show you. But I did build a few little things here. We got like a little gift shop here. I figured this would be like the register. Got some merchandise, just a bunch of dyes and stuff. Over here we have the concession stand with little prices for everything. A bunch of food in here. I got cookies. They're pretty hard to get in this version because you can only get cocoa beans from dungeon chests, and they're not even good. They only heal like half a heart. But yeah, I got a bunch of food in here, charcoal and whatever. Got these paintings, big paintings here. I don't know, it's like, oh, it's like a battle arena, put like the fighting guy. So I picked those ones. And then over here we got like the help desk and tickets or whatever. There's a help desk over here. You got like, these are like the tickets, all the paper, and we got a little map of the Colosseum or whatever, and info books. Over here you got the other spleefer equipment, same thing. And then in this corner you got the bathrooms, the ladies' room. Here you got the sink. You kind of got to use your imagination in this old version a little more than the new ones. They don't have like cauldrons or anything, so it looks kind of like a sink. A little toilet here, toilet paper. Same thing as the tickets. I don't know. I guess they don't charge very much for them. Men's room's a little smaller. Tried to make it, realistic in that sense. But yeah, that's pretty much the Colosseum. And then when you fall down, you just fall down here. And I put a little chest with some extra snow so you can reset after a match or whatever. And they all drop snowballs when you break them. Like if you break one, it drops. I guess one of the snowballs, yeah, got stuck, but you can use them to rebuild. Someone could be like the maintenance guy down here, picks them all up and crafts them back into snowballs. But moving on from that, I have shears on me. I like to shear those sheep. Wool is kind of a pain in the ass in this version. There's no, like, you can't breed animals or anything. You just gotta, I mean, you can make a passive mob farm. They spawn just like regular hostile mobs, but I usually carry around some shears on me just to grab wool whenever I pass by any sheep. Anyway, alright, so this is like our main little castle area here. That is one of the first things we built on the server. This brick house took a long ass time to make because bricks are a little bit annoying in this version. Like clay doesn't just spawn wherever. It's kind of like rare. It spawns on beaches sometimes. You can find like a few little clumps of it, but yeah, they're really annoying to get in this version. So I was pretty proud getting all this brick together for a big house like this. There's a few blocks like that in the old version, like brown wool. Like I was saying, cocoa beans are, you know, hard to get, so you either have to get them from like natural sheep or, you know, I mean, spend cocoa beans, which are, you know, only dungeon loot. Got our only record here. We haven't found too many dungeons, but that's our only record. Got the jukebox. I'm not great at interiors. I don't know. I think it looks okay. It's kind of open. Put these little chandeliers. But it's hard in this version because there's not too many like blocks to choose from. I thought this was cool. It was old school like TV, the buttons, and these are supposed to be like speakers. It's like the speaker tower and stuff. But you know, over here is like cabinetry and like a furnace, and there's like an oven. It's supposed to be an oven, a sink. Little window to stare at the wall here. I don't know. It wasn't really a great spot for this house, but we felt like we had to do something with this big canyon. I might end up moving this at some point too, or you know, tearing it down to make room for maybe just leaving this place open and use the bricks somewhere else. The upstairs is kind of unfinished. There's, you know, there's a bed. There's really not much else. Chandelier. Excuse me. There's an outdoor area here, like an umbrella, a lounge chair, so you can look out. And there's an attic, which I guess if you were living in the house, you could put like a storage room up here, and you know, there's room for it, but we didn't really ever live in the house. We mostly live in the castle, which I'll show you in a minute. So that's the brick house, and then there's also an exit over here. It takes you out to this little staircase. Over here is our strip mine. There's a little button, opens here. The incinerator right there. And there's a little cave system here. So we put a door in, but we don't really use that. And you jump down here. This is the strip mine. I think we're at Y12. There's some shears. Take those. Leave some shit down here because I don't need it. Maybe I'll take this dirt in case I need to pillar up anywhere. But yeah, we have the strip mines. It's kind of a lame design for a mine. I've been watching some other people's videos where they have you know, more of a like a proper mine shaft with like a rail going down the middle and stuff. So I might build a new mine. It's also kind of out of the way, like it's hidden away or whatever, so I'm not sure we're going to use it, or I'm going to use it for that much longer, but I marked how many diamonds we got from each of these. You can see most of them are, you know, complete ass. This one was huge, 26 diamonds, but then, yeah. Oh, there's a slime chunk down here. I need to make a slime farm, because it's kind of a pain. Just looking for them every time you need sticky pistons. Yeah, I haven't spent, like, I know a lot of people, you know, they'll make a world tour when they've spent like hundreds or even like 1,000 hours on a world, or they've been playing it for a certain amount of time. But I don't know, I only have, I mean, according to this, about, I don't know, maybe 100 hours on this world, but a lot of my statistics are kind of weird. They're kind of messed up because we did switch from the like regular vanilla jar to like a bucket jar, so we could do plugins and stuff. So I think that broke a lot of the statistics, and there's also some chunk errors and stuff, which you'll see. But there's another part to this room. If you reach back here and put a right click, there's a lever, pulls out the crafting table, and then this is our little cheaty duper here. I mean, I'm not sure anyone but my friends are gonna ever watch this, but if you care, oh no, we dupe the gravity blocks. You can dupe them in this version by just doing this. And you can make it bigger than this, but you know, I just did 8, not to overdo it. But you can do them like that. So that's where I get most of the gravel for the path, and then that's how I got a lot of the sand and sandstone we used for the Colosseum. It's a little cheaty, but I don't know. It's in the game, and it's our world, so we can do what we want to do. But anyway, moving on. So this is the main sort of tower here of the castle. This is where our main base is right now. I would like to move out of here at some point, make a different base, but for now it works. Over here we got a chest. This is all our rare items. The pink wool is not hard to make, but every time I find a natural pink sheep, I just kill it and get the 1 wool from it. So I found 10 pink sheep so far. We only have 4 cocoa beans, and then pumpkins you can't grow in this version. They just spawn naturally in the like little pumpkin patches. And then mossy, you can't make this. There's no vines. There's no crafting recipe, so you have to find it in dungeons. So that's pretty rare. And we only have 1 in here because we are working on it, getting more of it for a project. But up there's the little cactus farm. It sort of just runs continuously. There's like 5 or 6 cactuses in the wall. Cacti. Stop by and put them in here whenever I come in. I got furnaces here. This is our old storage. I kind of liked this design. You come up. It reminds me of like old libraries where they have the, you know, usually it's like a ladder, or they have that sliding. I don't know if you've ever seen like they'll have like a sliding ladder that goes along the bookcase so you can reach the top ones. You can jump up and reach these. I put these ladders in too, but I didn't realize you didn't need them, so I thought they looked okay. But eventually this was inadequate, so I built a bulk storage down here. One of the projects I want to work on is like a big storage room with, you know, a pillar for each type of item, so that we can have it all in one place if we ever want to build, because there's only about like 80 blocks, maybe like, you know, 100 items in this version, so it wouldn't be that hard to do compared to, you know, modern. Anyway, so we got our, you know, our valuables here, a bunch of iron, gold's all going towards something. We need more diamonds. Coal is all the wool that we have, which it was much more than this not too long ago, but I'll show you a project we've been working on, that I've been working on with that for a while. So my redstone components, I don't do that much redstone, but I would like to do something with it soon. You know, piston door, like a minecart system is something I'm interested in. I've got all our cobble here, which I just used a lot of it on that bridge, so we're running a little low. Dirt, I mean, you just end up so much fucking dirt in this version, which you could use to make like flat areas, which I'll show you. We kind of did outside, but I don't know, it's not the best building block. You can use it for some things, but use so much dirt. Gravel, sand, flint, glass, sandstone. Over here we got logs. I just got a bunch of that from working on one of the projects. Had a bunch of trees, planks, you know, all this stuff. Furniture is kind of whatever. I don't know when we ended up making so many crafting tables, but we have a million of them. They do have a pretty cool texture on top, though. I was thinking about using them as like a floor or something. This is mob drops. We only have 1 proper mob farm for skeletons, and besides that, it's all just killing them randomly. I'm gonna eat one of these. Make some bread for the, just in case I take any damage here. Alright. Mushroom stew in this version is pretty good because you can stack bowls and mushrooms, and you know, food does not stack in this version. It just heals you outright. It heals 5 hearts, so it's pretty good. Bucket, soul sand, netherrack, which we just used a bunch of. So there's not that much left. Glowstone. The Nether is such a pain to traverse in this version because of the gas, but I'll talk about it when I get to the Nether, I guess. Clay and bricks. All the saddles we found. Misk. I don't really know what would even go in Misk. I feel like I cover everything, but I don't know. Other rare blocks. Obsidian. It takes forever to mine. Bookshelves are expensive, so I figured to put them in there. Armor. Got rails. Slabs and stuff. It's kind of a tradition for us to not break the tool all the way and leave all the, diamond tools in here to show how much we've spent. I'm not that great about it. There are a few shovels and picks and stuff I've broken since we started, but I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I was thinking at some point have like a big room with a bunch of chests showing all the tools we burned through over the years. But this castle we built here because the valley that the house was in was like naturally sort of just like this big open valley with the tall mountains around it. We thought it'd be really cool to incorporate the castle into the mountain, so like all the snow or stone here is like naturally generated. This whole pool is naturally generated, so it's like a little swimming pool in the bedroom area. There's not that much of a interior decorating done here, but yeah. This is one of the redstone projects I did a long time ago. It's sort of like an emergency restock system. If you die and you need to go get your stuff, you don't want to go fumble through all the chests while your 5-minute timer's ticking down. So you just flip this lever. If you want tools or armor, you push the button and it'll dispense you. I actually do need new armor, so it'll dispense you like a set of armor or like a sword and a bow and stuff. There's the redstone back here. Very rudimentary. I'm not really a redstone expert, but I've been trying to learn a little bit. There's not as many redstone components. There's no observers and stuff, or comparators or anything, so it's a little bit of a pain to. I keep saying that, but a lot of stuff it's not a pain necessarily, but it's a little more tedious than it is in modern versions. But this big spire here, goes all the way up from the ground is naturally generated. In the world height, this goes almost to the world height. The world height in this version is only 128 blocks, which is like 200 less, I think, now than in spoilers, but in modern versions. This is the castle down here, so it goes through the mountain there. These are natural mountains. So it's hard to build like big, tall buildings. Like that goes all the way to the height limit, so that's about as far as you can go. The trees generate, they get cut off if they're at the world limit. And if you're building, this is fine because it's like at sea level, but if you start building on top of a mountain or something, you can't really go very far. And then Optifine also lets you move the clouds up. If I go to the options here, I don't actually know details. Yeah, so the clouds are normally actually below the world height, which can be really ugly with stuff like this if you're going to build something you actually live in, because they'll just sort of clip through the ground here. So that's another reason I wanted to get Optifine, was to make the clouds outside the playable area. And it can be cool for some builds to sort of work with that, but I think it's more worth it to be able to see stuff at the world height. Anyway, so this wall goes around the outside here of the base. This waterfall here is natural. Thought it was pretty cool looking. Goes around the outside over here. There's a bridge that connects the top of this mountain to the castle. We did carve some windows out here so you could step out and look out over everything. everything. And this is the other tower. It's a little smaller. Again, no interior. Maybe someday we'll do like a barracks or something with bows and, you know, little holes to shoot out of. But this over here is it's just a big glass, you know, pillar of lava, just as sort of a decoration. Just felt like my friend felt like building it, so we kind of went for more old school vibes to our builds. I'm not really a great modern builder either, but you know, a lot of flat walls and you know, simple textures, no gradients or anything. And this is something I saw a lot when I would play, you know, as a kid in beta, is people just build big lava towers and things like that. It actually does look pretty cool at night if I can just set it to nighttime. It looks pretty cool at night. There's the spawn building over there, a little better view of it. Guess I should do that at daytime. There we go. Looks pretty cool. That obsidian was, you know, took a long time to get, so I think it was worth it though. I think it looks pretty cool. It actually was built out of spruce wood initially, and then the little lava feature in the top burned the whole thing down before I was done with it, so I had to rebuild it out of something else. The staircase here leads to this sort of balcony area. You can look out the window. We're over here out the arch towards the rest of the builds, but this has a, I actually need to update this sign, because I added a new build here. See if I can fit it on one row. Not quite one letter short. This goes towards our snow base, and then the Valley of Pixels, which is a little pixel art area, which I'll show that later, I guess, at the end, because the minecart's kind of long. I just built this tunnel. It's a little ugly, but it was such a pain when I was working on the Valley of Pixels to go from here. You had to go either up the stairs over there to the balcony, or out up there and then drop down to it. So I had to build a tunnel to make it a little bit more convenient, because there's no sprint in this version, there's no elytra or anything, so getting up there is a little bit more of an ordeal. You need to build that kind of infrastructure. We have another build over here in this little cave. This is naturally generated here with the floating sand, so I've been really careful not to sort of disturb it since we started. So yeah, this little cave is kind of cool over here. And then out here we have the big arch that leads out to a few things. So we have a tunnel here just for, again, that infrastructure. Like, it's not that big of a deal to go over this hill or around it, especially in modern versions, but it's just, you know, walking around it is a little slow, so I dug this out just to make it easier when you're working on builds over there to get there. Alright, I'm just going to tackle this one build at a time, because this is probably the most dense area of the map. We built this big rose here because this is our flower farm. I don't have any bones on me, but I will spawn some in just to show the farm and how it works. So you turn this on, and then you hit the start button, it starts doing this. It's really loud. It really doesn't work as well as I'd like. Sort of place it, and sometimes it breaks it, sometimes it doesn't. Usually if you do a block update it does. But when you run stock, just turn it off, and you pick everything up here, and then anything that phases through the ground ends up, you know, down here. in this little collection area. There's no hoppers or anything, so it's really the best way to collect stuff is just do that. Have a little collection zone and pick it all up at once. I was going to show the internals. I guess I will, whatever. I'll just throw that stuff out again. I cheated in, but oh, I didn't even realize this was back here. It's a little chest. But I don't know, like I said, yeah, rudimentary redstone, kind of a basic clock here. But this turns on the clock, and then it just goes to the pistons. I don't know what this redstone dust is doing here. I might have just had it left over. I do like to, when I build, though, you know, if I have a chest with materials, like leave some stuff in it as just a way to make the world feel a little more lived in. You know, I did build it, I did have to transport resources, and that's another thing in this version is there's no shulker boxes, so like your only option for transporting stuff is, you know, your inventory. You can either fill it up, you know, walk or take a mine cart, put it all in a chest, go back and do that however many times, or you can build chest mine carts, but then you have to build the track to get there, which usually takes more time than doing it the other way anyway. And then this over here is the obsidian generator. This is where I got a lot of the obsidian for the spawn building. For those that don't know, the way this works, in old versions, I don't know when this bug was taken out of the game, but if you put water, which is, it's currently flowing backwards, it doesn't necessarily need to do that, but if you put water and then you put a redstone dust here, and you can do it across a whole line, and you put lava on it, like you're making a cobblestone generator, it turns into obsidian instead. Honestly, I have no idea why that happens. I just remembered this from when I was younger. I thought it was cool, and it is actually really way better than you know, digging down in a cave, because you don't have to worry about if there's lava below the obsidian or getting pushed around by the water. So it is much quicker to farm it this way than to do it in a cave. These buildings are a little plain here. I might add some more detail. I built this recently to sort of signify the flower farm. Maybe I'll build something to show it's obsidian here, but this is the internals for that. And real simple. It's just turning the pistons on. And then there is a collection area back here because some of the piston or the obsidian does fall into the water, but since it's flowing back, it goes and catches it. And then this little trough is in case you dump the lava by mistake when you didn't have obsidian there or redstone dust. So yeah, that's the flower farm. And over here, this is another early build we did. We're trying to build large scale and have you know, some sort of classic like stuff that doesn't really have a purpose, but it just looks nice, you know. That's what we build a lot of this stuff for. So we call this the Tree of Life. It's just a big tree, and these big trees get huge. I don't know if they still get this big in new versions, but I feel like they grow so big sometimes in this. Getting that lava was really annoying early on, but I think it turned out pretty cool, that build. And over here, this is where we really started. I just built these helixes like a week or so ago. I've been playing a lot recently, but these were kind of fun to make, and we just had so much sandstone and cobblestone lying around that I thought they would be cool. But again, that goes all the way to the height limit, and it doesn't look that tall, but I thought they were pretty cool. This is the first build I did on the server, called the Chunk, because I dug out a chunk. It actually doesn't align with like chunk borders or anything. I just sort of dug a 16 by 16 all the way down to bedrock. We were still using stone tools when I dug this, and then all of the stone from here is straight out of the chunk. None of it was you know, from anywhere else, so I thought that was kind of a cool detail. Over here is what we're using our Mossy for. We're trying to complete this creeper statue on this little pedestal. I thought it was a cool way to show off all the dungeons we found, but the back isn't done yet. We did finish the head. It doesn't look as good from above because the lava had to flow behind it, but that's something that I did a lot as a kid too, was build big statues of my friends and I's skins and mobs and stuff. And then down here, this is... Ooh, I want to die. This is something I found while... Ooh, take those. Slimes are like glitching out. There we go. I didn't know this was a slime chunk. I've never seen them spawn down here, but that's pretty cool. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I found this while working on the chunk, so I built a little minecart rail over. And this leads to our skelly spawner. This was the first skelly spawner we found, so I decided to make a little farm out of it because bone meal is pretty useful, and I never wanted to have to craft arrows. They're just so they're not resource intensive, but like, I don't know, getting the feathers and stuff is annoying. Although zombies do drop feathers. Let's hold on to this. But over here, so here's the spawner. And you make a dark room. If you don't know, in this version, when you hit F3, you can kind of cheat and see monsters' names, like, or they get little names that you can see through the walls to light up caves. But I haven't lit up any caves really. I want to build a proper hostile mob farm at some point with like the spawning platforms, but it's just not very high on my priority list, and until we need a bunch of TNT or something, I don't really see a point. Like, I mean, string makes wool a little easier to get, but I could just build a passive mob farm for that. Anyway, so they just fall down here, and you can AFK here and get you know, their materials and stuff. If you need bones, got some left over in here. I'm not sure what happened to that arrow he dropped. It just kind of disappeared, but yeah, they go up in a water elevator and they push each other along. They do get stuck sometimes. Not like a perfect design. There's no XP, so there's no reason not to just have them fall straight to their death. Yeah, but oh, I left some building materials. I put some paintings up. Might look nice in here. Let's do some of those. Let's open for some of the two wide ones, maybe. No. Alright, whatever. But yeah, so that's that. I was also thinking about putting in like glowstone lamps with pistons so that you could turn it off if you wanted to. But alright, moving on. Spending too long on this something so simple. Yeah, infrastructure in this version. I love building infrastructure. Like, I wish in the new versions that you know, minecarts were a little more useful, or that they never added like elytra, because it kind of just invalidated minecarts, and I feel like they're really cool to have around your world. Like, they're visible infrastructure. They you know, just make the world look more lived in than you just fly between places and whatever. They do have like the boat roads with the ice, which those can look pretty cool too if you do them right and make like a, you know, proper design. But I don't know, they always felt a little weird to me, and it's a little weird to me that they go so much faster than minecarts. Alright, anyway, so over here is our nether portal. Pretty simple, small scale build here, but one of the early ones we did. And then this over here is, you know, our sort of stairway to heaven kind of thing. Leads up to nothing in particular. It's just sort of a platform up there, but it goes all the way to the height limit, and then we dug a little staircase chamber here. It goes all the way down to bedrock. And we want to do gold all the way up. We think it'll look pretty cool. We did obsidian on the way down below sea level, and then gold all the way up, but it's just taking a long time to find all that gold, and I've actually had to ransack this a couple times. It was a little higher, but I needed to make some powered rails, so yeah. And then more recently I put this chain in, kind of like, I don't know, it's tethering it to the ground like it's gonna float away. I thought it looked pretty cool. So yeah, this is our main area. I mean, also, I didn't even mention it because I'm so used to it, but you can see everything's torched out, so there's no hostile mobs that spawn at night up here. And that's another classic thing I remember people doing, was you would just torch out your whole base. You'd walk outside and people would have torches every 2 blocks, like covering everything. It looks really, really cool at night, so I kind of wanted to replicate that old style. We have this wall that goes around. I guess I'll show that when I get closer to it. Alright, so before we move on over there, this over here is our farm. Right here. What? How did this chicken get up here? I don't know how they get up there. Maybe it was just glitching out because it looks like nothing has fallen in, but for forever there was like a couple blocks here, and I didn't realize that the mobs would be able to get up there, but I guess the cows are wide enough that they like walk across that. They were trampling this for forever. I'd have to fix it every time I came over here. But I've since fixed that. I really like this this little garden area. I think it looks really cool with the, you know, the sunroof and the little hedges going through it, and the waterfall and the water. I'm really proud of this build, even though it's sort of basic. That's where we get all our wheat and stuff. Fresh diamond hoe. I actually just broke the last one that we had here, so I had to make a new one. I never thought I'd go through a whole one. We have a little scarecrow here. Classic. Then over here we have this sort of retaining wall around this gravel beach is natural, and it actually was 2 blocks tall like this originally, so I thought that was really neat. And I made it like a sort of retaining wall, but a lot of this area, I mean, you can see how flat it is. Over here it was sort of a hill to begin with, but for most of it, it was like, well, I guess not that much of it, but it was, you know, lower down, and we turfed over it to make room for all these builds. I did leave this hill in for the lighthouse up here. And you can see, I mean, a lot of this stuff, you know, built out of wool. There's not a lot of vibrantly colored blocks, so if you want to do, you know, something that looks painted or anything like that, you sort of have to use wool. But the lighthouse gives you a pretty good view of a few of the other builds. You can see the, you know, the gravel beach. I do want to build like a harbor or a dock area, maybe here or over there at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. You get a pretty good view of the castle window there. Yeah, and the tree of life here. But yeah, that's the lighthouse. Built it really early, so we didn't really have enough glowstone to even do the whole thing. But put a little wood in between, just made it work instead of putting in that extra time. And I actually do kind of like how it looks with the wood anyway, so I think it adds to the character of it. Had nothing to do with lapis, so you know, put some there. And this over here, this might be one of the most complicated builds on the server, maybe the most complicated that I've done. is a Church of the Golden Apple. Obviously, it's, you know, huge scale, and I think it looks really, really cool with the, you know, the gold carpet, and the skylight during the day illuminating the apple. If I set it to nighttime, it doesn't look quite as good, because it's kind of hard to get light on the front here. But it is glowing a little bit because of the, there's glowstone behind it, but, yeah, again, interior is a little sparse, but I kind of like it for this build. I think it makes it feel very monumental, and we did put the, you know, the church little seats here. I also have a chest here. I didn't even realize, probably building materials, but this is something I like to do too, is kind of build with wood or stone and put glowstone and cover it with the pressure plate to sort of try and hide that it is there. I intend to put a golden apple in here if I ever find one. You can find golden apples in dungeons, but normal apples don't. You can't get normal apples at all. They're unobtainable. The only way to get one in this version was when you killed Notch, like the creator of Minecraft, he would drop one apple along with the rest of his inventory, and that was the only way to get one. You couldn't even craft these even if you got one that way, so they're extremely rare. It's like a 1% chance in dungeon chests to find them. This is pretty empty. I'll probably just transport this stuff back while I'm doing this. But yeah, I like the big windows. You know, they light up the room. I just think it looks pretty sweet. And then I don't think you can even go up these. Yeah, these are empty here. Maybe I'll put bookcases or something, or figure something out for these two spires. But yeah, that's the church there. I think it looks really cool from the outside too. One of the most iconic builds on, you know, this world. You can see there's a glass dome there above the apple with the little gold trim. I would have liked to use gold blocks, but again, it's just so much time. So this is the sort of outside wall. There wasn't really much of a theme when we started, but I think this is, I want to turn into maybe like a medieval area, maybe build some houses around, but I do kind of like how sparse it is. Some houses, maybe a windmill, and have that be like the royalty area, and this is sort of the, you know, upper class area inside the wall, and then outside would be, you know, commoners and stuff. You can walk through the wall all the way down, excuse me, all the way down, and on top along this. And this took forever to get all this wood, because I didn't want to just build it out of planks. I think they look kind of ugly in a big lump. I think the logs look great, so I had to get so many trees. I mean, like, each one of these is like a whole tree. And then this is why we ended up even making the snow bases, because I wanted spruce logs for this. And I could not find a snow biome for the life of me until I went looking that way. But we got the little, you know, gate here. It's not functional or anything, but I think it looks pretty cool. This is probably the most complicated redstone build I did, and I remember people doing these on old SMPs back in the day. So this is like a trading post, like a two-sided trading post. And so the idea is you go in, you put your items in the chest, so, you know, I'm trading bones or whatever, and you'll put that you're ready to trade. It blocks off the chest, so you can't go in it anymore, and you have to come out of the chest to hit the lever, so you're not able to, you know, go back in it. And then whoever's on the other side, they do the same thing. So they'll, I'm trading trapdoors or whatever. And when they hit their lever, once they're both pulled, it opens the opposite person's chest after. And so, you know, by that time, they've taken the items out already, you've taken the items out already. And even if you flip this back, you can't really steal them back usually because they're already done. I built 3 of them adjacent. The redstone is a little bit more complicated down here than the other builds, and it's not organized at all across these 3, but yeah, I didn't do a tutorial or anything for this. I wanted to try doing a redstone build just based on something that I remembered using the skill I had, so I think I did pretty good on this. Reset that. But again, I'm really the only one that plays on this server. I was thinking maybe someday we'll you know, get some more people on it more often, and we could actually, you know, use this to trade between each other, but it's more just there for the vibes. And I haven't really done much with this outside area. Like I said, I want to have like the sort of peasantry, but I don't know, I feel bad tearing down a lot of this old school terrain because I think it looks really neat, like the spikes and stuff and things like that. Over here, this is pretty cool. This is a zombie spawner that is naturally, it just naturally spawned right here with, it even had this exact square of dirt missing. I guess it has something to do with the way that it generated, but you know, robbed all the mossy out of it, and then I just put a glass roof over it for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to do something with it in the future. I don't even think I took the items out of the chest. I don't know, just preserve it in its original state. Although I guess I took the mossy, so I didn't really do that, but I thought that was super, super cool. And I don't know if I've ever had a surface dungeon spawn quite like that. I remember the first dungeon I ever found as a kid was a spider spawner, and I had no idea what it was because I used to play on peaceful mode when I was a kid, and it spawned like in, like there was a cave, and the spider spawner was like breaking out of it into like a beach area, so it was just exposed. I didn't find it underground or anything, and I was so confused because like I was like, I'm on peaceful, why is there a monster? And it didn't do anything, like, you know, it didn't spawn anything, so I was really confused. But anyway, so that's pretty much the main area, you know, all done. Oh, there is one more build over here that I can show, another more recent one. That's what I built this path for, was actually when I was working on this over here, and probably got a glimpse of it through this tunnel. But over here is our tree farm, and it's not efficient by any means. I've never built a Minecraft tree farm before, even like an old one, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I think it turned out okay, but I would have made this, in retrospect, I would have made this bottom floor a couple blocks taller so that it would build taller trees, but this also was turfed over. There's actually, this, you know, water down here is natural, and I put a little, I thought it was pretty neat to have a little window to it, but these all generate 4 blocks tall exactly, and you can just sort of go down the line. So I put the oak at the bottom to prevent the big trees. This is the storage area, the saplings and leaves, and then the logs. I haven't used this that much yet, but you know, if I need a large amount of wood, I'm sure I would use it a lot. And then up here, it's half spruce, half birch trees. And then, I don't know, over here is just sort of a like decorative area. Put this in, I thought it looked pretty neat. You can sort of look out over the bay here. I think it would look cooler if there was a, you know, a boat dock over here, or a boat in the water. Is something I'm interested in building at some point. And there's this little overhanging waterfall that I think looks pretty cool. And it looks really cool from down here. I think it's cool if you look through it, you can see like it doesn't render the water through other water, which I didn't even know about. And it lets you see, it's kind of cool. Also, if you notice, my water and my lava textures are like kind of messed up compared to usual. I am running a texture pack that you know, puts some of the old textures back, like the old cobblestone, and the water's really ugly. I kind of wish it still was animated like it is nowadays, but you know, you win some, you lose some. And over here, this is one of my buddy's builds. He joined the server and played pretty consistently for about a week or so. So this is the Dirt Kingdom, or Dirt Alliance or something. I don't actually know what he calls it. He called it something, I think. But his idea was, you know, build everything out of dirt, and I think that's a good idea because, you know, you get so much dirt. I think this place turned out really awesome, though. I'm a big fan of these builds over here, and he's also the one that built that over there. But he turfed over here. I think he was intending to do a lot more of this area, but he sort of stopped playing. So this is the Dirt Pyramid. Just some, you know, old school interior here. No function, mostly form. I think this platform here looks really cool. The top has no grass, and everything else is kind of overgrown over time. Big brown banner for the Dirt Kingdom. And then this is his castle here, which I think looks really, really cool. And I don't know, he hasn't been on in at least a year now, but I haven't like looted his stuff or anything, just in case he ever decides to hop back on. But I really like the flow of this this base. I think it's very, very cool. Like the hallways. It's like a bedroom area here. Some more windows looking out on the terrain, and the ocean. I think that's about it for the Dirt Kingdom. Right now it's more just a dirt castle, fortress, I don't know. But up there's just a bunch of trees. There's nothing else really to see. I'm just going to drop down. I think he had to carve this out, yeah, over here a little bit. Oh, there's some clay. Actually might collect that real quick. Alright. Moving on from the Dirt Kingdom. I think I am actually going to do a little cut here. I didn't intend to edit this at all, but it's going to be a bit of a walk back to the main base. Alright, and then before moving on, I figured I would do a little nighttime shot of the, you know, the main base area, because like I said, I do think these torches look really cool, especially with the old blocky lighting, and this area kind of just lights up at night, which I think is really, really cool. I might add some on the helixes there, because they're kind of hard to see, but yeah, so I figured I would give a look at that before moving on. Maybe I'll leave it nighttime until we move on here. But yeah, this is the bridge that I didn't really show before. And then you can see, going off that way, super simple design on this, but that's our minecart rail. And again, I think I'll just drop down. Try not to take too much damage. And then yeah, I guess we will move on to the snow base in the valley. I'm gonna set it back to day so you can see a little better. I guess I should probably concern myself more with lighting up the builds so you can see them at nighttime, but I don't know. For now, it's whatever. This is that pyramid. It actually doesn't look too bad from here when you're just passing by, but I want to give it a function, or maybe it's too small. I don't know, something about it. Not my favorite. Goodbye, main base. So I just walked and walked and walked looking for a snow biome. There's actually like 3 or 4 of them way closer to spawn, but I just didn't find them, so I ended up building a minecart all the way out here. Coming up on the Valley of Pixels. You can see like the chunk errors here. I think it's from when we updated to Bucket, but I kind of tried to use them and incorporate them in the valley here because this all looked really cool. So we got like Shantae sitting on the wall there, and Sonic. We got a Samus, sort of Metroid one. They're all sort of NES style. Simon stepping up on the chunk error again. Link Kirby. But this Metroid or Samus sprite is not for Metroid 1. It's just sort of in the style because I hate that sprite. I didn't really think it looks very good. Got Mega Man over here. Last thing. There are some builds on that side which I'll show on the way back, because I'm going to probably show the Nether last. So here's the snow biome. Alright. I do want to do some builds with these hills over here because I think they look really neat. Like this huge overhang is just so cool. And I feel like you don't get this kind of generation as much in the modern versions. But this is the snow base here. It's kind of like an observatory design with the big window. I was thinking about putting a telescope coming out of it, but I'm not great at building on angles. Might give it a shot one day and have it so you can look from here, but I think even this looks pretty cool as it is. I haven't really cleared a lot of the snow out from up here, which I probably should do also. And then I thought this was such a cool, again, this was a natural overhang that we built on here. I got some jack-o'-lanterns out front. And I just thought it was so cool, so I wanted to build the base here. But whenever we need snow, you just come here, you know, break a whole shovel, just shoveling up snow, and then craft it. A little farm out here in case we ever, need food and you're living here for a little bit. But this place is sort of unfinished, old school sort of base style where you just leave the terrain as it is and fit stuff where it fits. Put some of these items away in here that I don't really need. Maybe I'll keep the wool. Okay. A little bedroom here because we're having trouble with monsters attacking us out here, but I think we lit it up enough for them to stop doing that. And then if you go down, this is another mine, and I like this one a little more because it has this, mine cart. It's not as much of just a strip mine, but we got a lot of cobblestone here for the castle. When we were building the castle, a lot of the cobblestone came from here. And I was like, I'm just gonna dig a big hole. I didn't design it very much. I might even dig it up one and put like some wooden pillars or something, but I don't really come out to the snow base too often. And if I just need cobblestone, it's not worth, you know, the whole minecart ride. There's this really awesome cave out here that we haven't really even fully explored. But yeah. And then over here, excuse me, there's another skeleton spawner. They all look like pigs on the server. I don't know if it's Bucket doing that or whatever, but yeah, there's another skeleton spawner. Didn't really do much with it, just it's there. And then there's no powered rails because we didn't find much gold here, so sort of just gotta walk up, but I guess that's something I could do at some point. Upgrade this to powered rails. Probably the last, I think the last thing is going to be the other side of the Valley of Pixels. I did want to build something with ice in this version because you can't, there's no silk touch, so like to use ice in a build, you have really two options. You can either build in a snow biome and create like a mold out of, you know, dirt or whatever and fill it with water. And if you do that, you know, you can build much faster with ice than the other method, which would just be take a piston and push it painstakingly wherever you want it. And then you got to be careful because if you put, you know, a light source too close, it'll melt it. I can only imagine pushing an ice block back to the main base and accidentally melting it with a torch. I would crash out. Over here is the meteor. Sort of before I had the idea for the Valley of Pixels, I was like, man, this minecart ride needs some scenery, so I built a meteor over here, and originally it didn't have like this dirt ring around it. That's added more recently, but I think it looks cool, like it just landed and it, you know, destroyed the landscape around it. And then this here is the Nether Island. I built this because I had dug a bunch of nether materials and I didn't really know what to use them on. And again, just more scenery for this, you know, minecart ride that's just so boring. So this is a naturally generating island that I just, you know, converted over to all nether blocks. Put the lava in. I did want to do a little bit of like a ring around it with lava going into the water, but it's just so much lava. It's not high on my priority list. And then I put a nether portal in this natural little alcove that was here, because I thought, you know, it's like it's seeping out into the world. I think there's still stone behind it actually, which I didn't realize. Oh god. Yeah, you can get lit on fire from the lava if you walk over it next to it with soul sand. I'm not even gonna make it to the water before this goes out. Yeah. But whatever. Be a little more careful. I'll have to fix that stone at some point though. And then last thing to show is really the nether. So this is the nether. Oh my god, so many gas immediately you can hear. This wall is temporary. It's just sort of built to defend from the ghast onslaught as soon as you spawn in here. You see the mushrooms have spread a lot from when I was building this here, but this is the nether base. Very small, sort of just started recently. And it has this lava feature in like the main, you know, foyer area. And it has two settings, so you can either leave it up like this and the lava will flow randomly. there's actually a little mechanism I stole from an old Etho video. Let me see if I can show it here. It's super clever what a lot of these people came up with these old, you know, limitations on redstone and things. Try not to break it here. So if you look, I covered it up. So there's two, you only really need one, but I put two just to make it happen a little more often. But there's two cacti here, and when they grow, the sign breaks them. They fall on one of these pressure plates. When they fall, you know, whatever they activate in the front here, it opens that that lava, and then it gives you random patterns on the front here. And then, you know, when the cactus despawns after some time, it puts it back, and you know, it fixes it. So there's no lava. Look, you can see this one here. I guess a cactus must have just fallen. Oh, there you go. So I thought that was a really cool, like, idea, just to have that random element, and I thought using the cactus was so clever. But if you don't want, you know, the random because it doesn't look that good, you can just hit the lever and open all of them at once. And I think it looks pretty sweet. And then over here, I don't know, just like a lava floor. I was thinking about putting maybe like a sofa or something in here and having it be a little library, but also it you know, gives you the ability to look out and before you go out to the portal, see if there's any ghasts or anything, because they shoot from so far away, and the bows in this version don't shoot very far. Like, they only shoot, you know, maybe 20 blocks or so. You can shoot them as fast as you want, but they're not very effective for fighting gas. And then over here, this is unfinished, but I built a little piston door. I haven't done anything with this room yet. Maybe I'll make this like the lounge area, or have some kind of, I don't know, something in here. But I was looking up if there were any glitches to get water in the Nether in this version, and there's not, so I guess that's off the list. But I was also thinking about putting like a, you know, a small tree farm, and making this like a little colony where, you know, they're bringing stuff from the overworld, sort of terraform the Nether a little bit. Maybe put some dirt out, even though there's no way to get grass in the Nether, because again, no silk touch. But yeah, then there's not much to see out that way. That bridge just leads to a big soul sand patch where we dig all our soul sand and get glowstone and stuff. What I do like about this Nether portal is, even though it's so far away in the overworld, it actually linked up to exit here, and I'll pretty much never have any reason to come out over there, so it's a cool way to fast travel back here. You always come out at the base. But yeah, that's pretty much the world. I guess as like a final thing, since this is going to be, you know, the first time I do this, I don't even know if I'll do it again. I could talk a little bit about why I am interested in playing in this old version. It's just much simpler, in my opinion. I mean, obviously nostalgia has some, you know, some weight into why I enjoy this version. It's what I remember from when I was younger, but something about the limited block palette and just not having anything to do necessarily. There's no end, there's no you know, boss fights. There's no the only structure to find is dungeons, and you know, once you find one, there's not really much more to see. So I think it's neat to have to set your own goals, and it makes me feel a lot less pressured to, you know, go and get the best gear before deciding to build, or making everything have a purpose, needing a farm for every resource. Like, there's not as many farms that you can make in this version, and even if you can, there's no hoppers. Oh, classic trash can here, by the way. Forgot to show this. Just throw stuff on there. Yeah, and I don't know. I just think it's appealing for that reason. And on top of that, it is nice that when you know you're playing this version. I mean, we made this world in 2022. When you're like, man, you know, I'm itching to play some Minecraft. You get that phase that everyone gets, where you haven't played in a while, and you know you're gonna spend 2 weeks grinding it. You just come back to the same world, and I know a lot of people will do that with modern versions. They'll just stay on the same world, but you know, I always feel compelled, especially when they change the generation and stuff, to make a new world and you know, have the new terrain or the new biomes. And obviously this version is never going to update. It's an old version, so I never feel that pressure to restart, like I'm missing out, because nothing is ever going to change with it. But anyway, if you're one of my buddies, sorry for yapping so much. If you are not and you stumbled across this video somehow, thanks for watching. I don't know, you know, I appreciate you sitting through watching the whole thing. I'll do one little scroll through my statistics here, just even though they're all messed up, just for the sake of documentation. And yeah, I intend to do more of these, probably every 100, 200 hours, whether it takes, you know, weeks, months, or years. Probably do at least a few more of these at some point. So yeah, thanks for watching.